It has been assumed or thought in the past by some that when an individual dies, their brain stops all activity and shuts down soon after death. But according to new research, this is not exactly true, or not entirely true, at least when it comes to certain cells in the brain. They found that certain cells in the brain not only keep on going, but get more active as well as grow quite a bit. This research is from the University of Illinois, Chicago, and published in the journal Scientific Reports. For more information about it, I am quoting from ScienceDaily.com here. Quote, the UIC researchers analyzed gene expression in fresh brain tissue, which was collected during routine brain surgery at multiple times after removal to simulate the post-mortem interval in death. They found that gene expression in some cells actually increased after death. These quote-unquote zombie genes, those that increased expression after the post-mortem interval, were specific to one type of cell, inflammatory cells called glial cells. The researchers observed that glial cells grow and sprout long arm-like appendages for many hours after death. End of quote. Dr. Jeffrey Loeb, who is head of neurology and rehabilitation at UIC College of Medicine and corresponding author on this study, said that this is not surprising because these cells' job is to clean things up after a brain injury like a stroke or oxygen deprivation. He also said that this discovery would impact other research that studies the brain. Many researchers that study the brain and look at post-mortem human brain tissues to understand better and find a treatment or cure for certain brain disorders or diseases do not take into account post-mortem gene expression or cell activity. Dr. Loeb seems to think that this discovery might change that. If this does change that, then those researchers who study the brain may learn new things from this. They also found that different genes did different things when death occurred. For more on that, I am quoting again from the article, quote, they found that 80% of the genes analyzed remained relatively stable for 24 hours. Their expression didn't change much. These included genes often referred to as housekeeping genes that provide basic cellular functions and are commonly used in research studies to show the quality of the tissue. Another group of genes known to be present in neurons and shown to be intrinsically involved in human brain activity, such as memory, thinking, and seizure activity, rapidly degraded in the hours after death. These genes are important to researchers studying disorders like schizophrenia and Alzheimer's disease, Loeb said. A third group of genes, the quote-unquote zombie genes, increased their activity at the same time the neuronal genes were ramping down. The pattern of post-mortem changes peaked at about 12 hours, end of quote. We now know that, at least according to this research, that when one dies, it does not mean everything in their brain stops and shuts down very soon. As it said, the genes involved in memory, thinking, and seizure activity rapidly degraded after death, but 80% of the genes, it said, remained relatively stable for 24 hours. So, this means that most of the brain, or the vast majority of the genes, do not rapidly degrade very soon after death. While some may be surprised to hear about this research and what it found, this study's findings is not totally new information, at least the main point, though some details from the study may be new. In the past, particularly the recent past, studies and evidence has come out that say death of the brain and rest of the body is a process that happens over a period of time after the moment of time that person is considered to have died or they lose consciousness. What previous studies have said, as well as what this one seems to have found, is that death happens slowly and not all at once or quickly. I will provide links in the description of this video of those studies and more info on this. So if you are interested in further exploring this topic, you can look at them. There have been cases where people have been considered dead, their heart had stopped beating for some time, and they were brought back to life. These cases also have not been rare, so this seems to add to the evidence of the fact that death does not happen all at once, because this probably would not be possible to bring them back. Many of these previous studies have shown, and the people who have come back have said, that they still had some consciousness or were aware, not of things around them or their surroundings, but they entered a dreamlike state, but were aware of being in a dreamlike state. I am sure many of us have heard of post-death experiences or visions people say they have after they die. Many have claimed it to be a religious experience or think they are about to enter an afterlife. Some scientists, or those who are not religious, say this has a perfectly natural explanation, which is that this person is in a dream or dreamlike state, and therefore what they are seeing is not real. These experiences that people report often are unique in that people see different things, which seems to suggest or prove that these are indeed dreams. This does not, of course, disprove an afterlife. One may enter it after this, or this can prepare one for it. Anyway, this particular study did not get into that, and I'm not going to get too much into it here. This study did not go into what a person feels or their dreamlike state. They were focused on the brain and on the natural parts of the brain, on the cells and genes, and what they did after death. What they found was quite interesting and gives us a better idea what happens to us, or in particular the brain, when we die or are in the process of death. So thanks for watching, and I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe if you've not already done so. Thank you very much.